What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Disney's Lorcana, the first chapter. The price for this card right now is taking off. It is absolutely skyrocketing. And we're going to take a look at the market and we're going to talk about it. We're going to assess what's going on and if there's some market manipulation going on. And I'm going to show y'all some cool tools how you can do this yourself. And you can hop on eBay if you don't know already, and how you can assess cards you're looking at and really just try to understand the market and what's going on. If there's any kind of manipulation, shill bidding. If y'all don't know what shill bidding is, it's basically where you're artificially pumping up the price of a card to boost the market on something, right? And there's something else we're going to take a look at as well. The King, the Grail, Charizard himself, after we talk about Elsa, of course, at the end of the video, which is basically a chart topper. It's one of the biggest sells ever for this card, and we're going to take a look at it, and y'all let me know what you think and drop some comments. So let's go ahead and start by looking at the market for Elsa. So this is Disney's Lorcana, came out 2023 first chapter, and this is a beautiful, stunning card. And PSA 10s, as you can see right here, March 18th of 2024, very recently, was selling right around $1,800. So roughly $1,600 to $1,800, and raw, this card was selling for around $700. So I do remember when this set first came out. Of course, Elsa kind of took off. The prices jumped. You could see it on TCG Player and whatnot. And you basically seen the card was hovering right around $700 at that time as well. And then it went up to about $1,000. The card went to about $2,000 plus in a PSA 10. And the market started to cool off. It came back down to about the $500-$600 range. And the card was selling for roughly about $1,400-$1,400 in the PSA 10. Well, something recently is making this card take off. And there's a few contributors, right? I will give it to a few things that's going on right now. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Disney is big, right? Disney has been out for over 100 years. So there's a lot of fans out there. There's a huge fan base. And not only is there a huge fan base for Disney's Lorcana, there's also a huge fan base for Frozen, for Elsa. There's a lot of Elsa lovers out there, but that's not really the case with this card, right? A lot of people are in it for the bag. A lot of people are in it for the money. And I say that because how many people out there are collecting Elsa, i.e. including myself, right? I do have one that I bought for the low, right? Because I had a feeling this card would go up in value, and it is. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not watching Elsa. I'm not. Half of you out there are not watching Elsa. Now, the aesthetics of this card is very pleasing. It is a beautiful and stunning card. It's really nice, very carefully crafted. You could tell that it would be a grail inside of Lorcana if the game carries on. But as we know with TCGs, your MetaZoos, all of this other stuff, and I understand Disney's not the same, but the point is, right, you'll have to understand that Disney's Lorcana is licensed from Disney through Ravensburger. It is not done by Disney. Disney themselves are not pumping Lorcana and running Lorcana. That's not Disney doing that. They do sell the products. Now, it is going to carry a lot of weight because they licensed all of their stuff. So now we're down into about a third set, right? I think it's like, what, Into the Inklands? We had Rise of the Floodborn. There's a few sets out there already, but I am noticing a trend, right? All of these enchantments that are coming out throughout all of these sets, they're not cheap. So there's still a lot of hype, actual hype around Lorcana right now, that people are buying these cards between $300 to $500. Now, the hottest one right now is Elsa. And inside the entire first set is Elsa. Now, we do want to look at the market and see if there's any kind of market manipulation. And if Elsa is skyrocketing in price, is going up and going to trend up over time, and Lorcana tends to bode very well, that means that the first edition print boxes will go up, especially the ones that first came out, because that's huge to collectors. The first boxes that released did not have cellophane on it. Now, regardless if you like the box being wrapped or not, collectors do. So cards like this that are very pricey, that makes the boxes go up over time. I mean, look at boxes like Evolving Skies and Pokemon, right? That box is starting to skyrocket itself. A lot of Sword and Shield is. Evolving Skies is hitting $600, and it's a no-brainer. It's going to be the next $1,000+ booster box. People can believe it or not, But in a few years' time, I mean, that's another team up. Look how many evolutions are inside of Evolving Skies. So it was just a matter of time that it was going to take off. When you look at Disney's Lorcana, I'm not looking at the booster box prices right now, but I imagine they're roughly $300 to get a booster box. And how many enchanters in there that are worth hundreds of dollars to include a $2,000+ Elsa is definitely going to carry the box price above what the Elsa costs, because a lot of collectors tend to spend more on the booster box than they will for the biggest hit card inside of that set. I don't know why. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's a collector thing. Somebody just wants to hold it inside of their collection. But the boxes over time tend to do better than the hit cards that are graded in the set itself. So just keep that in mind, okay? So let's get back to it. So right here, March 18th, $1,849. Now we are going to start scrolling up, and we start to see the prices increase. Right here, we had one on March 23rd that sold for $2,249. So now we're breaking a $2,000 barrier, right? This is only a matter of less than a week. This is a few days, and that was not an anomaly. We have another one the same day, $2,100. These are buy offers, right? So we have March 22nd, $2,199. So roughly $2,200. There's another one for $2,199. Now we're going to start getting into the bids. So we had one that was autographed. Okay, yeah, I can see $2,250, right? This one had an autograph on it, and it looks like the autograph was also graded, authentic. And then you had one right here sold for $2,075, 3 bids. But as we start to go higher, let's get closer to where we're at right now, right? We have a PSA 10, 2200, 2413, right? 31 bids strong, $2,413 on March 25th. We have another one, best offer accepted at 2500, 2249 for buy it now, 2500 buy it now. So we're not going to pay so much time to the comps right now for the current market, because the current Elsas that are on the active market, getting active bids on them right now, are the ones that are skyrocketing right now. The ones that are taking off and going to crazy prices. Now, they're not done yet, right? We have a couple auctions we're going to look at, which are roughly around a day left, and we haven't been able to see if they get paid out yet. But we are going to be seeing that trend in the next couple of days. So we want to see if Elsa is going to break the $3,000 range, which with the trend she's going right now, she's definitely going to do that. And I do feel like she is pumping a little bit too fast. So the market will have to cool. She will take a dip. And a lot of people that are in the game to sell right now, my personal suggestion, don't take it from me, right? But if I had it, I would probably sell it very soon once she breaks the $3,000 mark. But you can also hedge your bets, right? This could be a card in 10 years. We don't know. It could be comparable to something like a Charizard, right? You have the next $50,000, $100,000 card. Don't know, right? Like, no one knows. Nobody can predict the future. It really depends, like I said, how Lorcana does. If Lorcana does well and is still around in 5, 10, 15 years, then Elsa is going to be a Grell in the making 10, 15 years down the road when people are buying this card for $50,000. Or this card is going to take a dip right now, cool back off, and Lorcana is going to start to cool off as a whole. But the market for Lorcana is very strong right now, and the enchanteds are very strong. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the first bid listing right here. So this one right here is currently at $2,739. It ends in 1 day exactly. There's currently 20 bids on this card. So if you want to check out the bids on a card and you want to see what type of activity is going on, log into your eBay on the desktop, come down here to where it says bids, right? Click on this bid right here, and then you can scroll down and you can see information about what's going on. Currently, there's 20 bids on this card. There's 11 bidders, 0 retractions. That means nobody has bid and retracted their bid. So that's a good sign right now. How much time is left? Duration was 7 days. And then we can scroll down, and this is where it's very important, right? You can see all of the bidder information. So the bidders, they're not going to show you the entire name. You're going to see a couple of stars in there. So it says R*******4, right? And then next to it, you can see their feedback. So this is seller and buyer feedback. This person right here currently has 9 total. So you can scroll through, and these are things that you want to pay attention to, right? You want to pay attention to how much feedback a person has. Now, very low is typically risky, right? It's not to mean that every person that has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a scammer, but it's just something that you want to pay attention to because they are very new, and especially somebody if they have zero. They hop on here and the first thing they do is go to a store and bid, $1,000 on an Elsa card with zero feedback. And you'll see something like right here, right? 8 ***7, 5 feedback. Jumped this card all the way from 500 and then stopped up here around the $700 range. So that's what you want to pay attention to, right? And if we look at the bottom, nothing fishy. 565 reviews, $200, right? So they took it up to $200. This person stepped in with one for 400. As we come to the top, we can see the current bidder. You can click on this bidder, and then you can see some more information on this person. So right here it says they have 9 feedback, 100% positive feedback. They have put 2 bids on this Elsa card. There's been a total. Now, this is a 30-day summary, right? So total bids 32, items bid on 16. Now, this is across their history. This is not just on this card alone. Bid activity % with this seller. This is very important. This is what you really want to pay attention to when it comes to shill bidding. But once again, you can never really prove shill bidding. It's hard, right? It's really, really tough. You can look at it and say, yeah, that sounds like shill bidding. To me, it looks like shill bidding, and I might want to stay away from it after I do my analysis. But looking right here, 6% is typically very low. And you also want to pay attention to if they're like big sellers like Probstein, right? If you have something like Probstein where it's like 50, 60%, generally I might stay away from that because I'm like, look, this person's probably shill bidding anything past like 30% towards a seller. But if it's a huge seller, it might make sense, right? Maybe that person is preferential to that big seller like Probstein. So you want to pay attention to that. But when you're looking at it right here, this card is very, very expensive. But this person that's currently in the front, in the lead to buy this card, has only bid on 6% of this seller's stuff. So that's not a bad sign, right? They have 0 bid retractions. That's a good sign. And you can also see how many bid retractions this person has done in the last year, 12 months, 0. So right now, looking at this card, I would not say it's a concern for shill bidding. Now going on to the next one, I went ahead and did a pool of some of the biggest ones. And the only thing I really noticed a trend of is that the top person that's in the lead right now all have 9 feedback. It might just be weird. It might just be me, right? There might not be any connection whatsoever because I can't tell who this person is, but they all have 9 feedback, which is pretty weird to me. And right now, this second Elsa card, PSA 10, of course, is at $2,761. Now, this one has 13 bids, 6 bidders, 0 retractions, and 4 days left. So this one has a lot more time left, 7 days. I think FOMO is starting to kick in. They've already ran this card up to $2,700. And you notice, if you look for Elsa, there's not a ton of listings, but there are a ton of Elsas on a pop report. There's over 1,000, which is really not a lot in the scheme of things, depending on, right, there's a huge fan base. So that far exceeds, just like the Moonbreon, there's like 14,000. So when you take it for a Moonbreon versus like this Elsa is not really printed into oblivion for how many people want this card. And for the amount that's on the market right now, it shows me that not a lot of people are trying to get rid of it right now. There might be a lot of true collectors that want to keep this in their collection or maybe not even grade the card. So you don't see a lot of them on the market, and that's going to drive the price up even more. So this one is at $2,700. FOMO starting to kick in. 9 feedback. We click on this person right here, and we'll try to see what we see right now. So 100% positive feedback, bids on an item, 1 bid, and that was the winning bid. Total bids 32, 16 items bid on, 18%. That is not bad. We're getting closer to the 30% range. I mean, that's not a be-all, right? 30 for me is kind of risky, but 18% is not bad. 0 bid retractions last 12 months. So this one, if you look at the bids right now, I don't know, man. Sometimes it can be hard to tell. You have this person right here had 103 feedback, took it from $3 all the way to $25. So that's really nothing, right? Then stopped up here at 1,100. This person with 1 ***6, 51 feedback, started at $1,100. That person probably had a max bid with the 103 feedback and then said, you know what, I'm backing out. It's getting too high for my range right now. And that's probably because recently this card was right around $1,100. So some people tend to believe that the true market is still in the $1,000 range, right? People are not willing yet to pay over, $1,000 for this card. So looking at the third one right here, This one has 1 day, 7 hours left, 7-day duration, 15 bidders, 33 bids, also 9 feedback, and $2,700. So, like I said, it is getting closer to the $3,000 range. I do think in the next few days, it definitely could hit 3,000. It'll either go up from there or it'll start to cool off and dip back below $3,000, potentially below $2,500. So that's just something to pay attention to. We'll look at the bid history right here. We see a lot right here with the D star 3, 6 feedback. Not a lot of feedback. Carried it from $10 and went all the way up here, but not a crazy amount of money. So, I mean, with shill bidding, you really never know, right? Sometimes people are just trying to get the card off of the ground, get it started, and get it rolling. But typically a card that's in high demand when you started at 99 cents, it's going to get bids anyway. So stopping at $100 is really not a big deal. We'll look up here and see if this person bid again. They did $150, and we do not see him on here again. The current person is at $27.51. We'll click on their profile as well, try to see what's going on. We have 0 bid retractions, 6% with this seller, items bid on 16, total bids 32, and 100% positive feedback. So not a lot going on. They put 2 bids on this one. And I think we have one more we are going to look at. This one, 33 bids, 9 bidders, 3 days left, and also 9 feedback, which is this person right here is 0 star 5 at $26.76. So the trend across the market right now is the Elsa's between $26 to about $2,800 roughly is the sweet range right now. Now, we do not know where it's going to end. There's a couple, I think 1 or 2 with a day left. So we will check those in a couple of days and check 130point.com as well to see if the items were actually paid for and set that new market price. You can also get on the app Alt, and you can look for a lot of cards on there and look across all different markets and see what cards are selling for and get a rough average for what a card is worth if you want to check that out as well. Now, we'll go ahead and click on this person right here and check it out. So 0 bid retractions as well, 18%. Items bid on 16, total bids 32, 100% positive feedback, 1 bid on this item. And looking at the bids right now, I don't see a lot out of the ordinary, except this person won star 6, 18 feedback. I mean, they wanted this card, right? So they ran it all the way up from the bottom, all the way up to roughly $500. So that's just something to pay attention to. That person did not hop back in. Yeah, so I mean, currently looking at the market, man, all I can tell y'all, you let me know what you think. You drop a comment down below. I mean, I'm sure y'all can analyze the market just as I can get on here. A lot of you probably have more experience than I do. I don't know. But I mean, looking across the market, I don't see a lot of stuff that's fishy right now with Elsa. I have nothing to really conclude that things are being shill bid on. I don't see a high rate of buying and shilling with the sellers. I don't see load feedback to the point where it's like 0. I don't see a person just going all throughout or battling it against, 2 people on any of these auctions right now. And a lot of these, they're not even huge auction houses like Probstein. So it's really hard to tell. Honestly, do I think there's some market manipulation for Elsa? I mean, you never know, right? There could be buyouts, basically artificially pumping up the price across the market. Really, it's just like what people want to put their bottom dollar for, what they want to list this card at. So a lot of it is demand and how much somebody wants a product. And if people want Elsa bad enough, they're going to raise this card to $3,000. Right now, it is very expensive. It's very pricey. I'm not going to say it's a good buy or not a good buy. Y'all have to make that assessment yourself. But will this card hit 3,000? Absolutely, I believe it will, especially with how fast it's going up right now, which is something I would not be comfortable with myself. This card was just in $1,000 range, and now it's almost $3,000. So just pay attention to that, right? Now, I don't see also any kind of reasons why this card would jack up to this price. Like another reason would be like the Mario Pikachu, right? That card went up to like $7,000, $8,000 when a PSA 10 was $2,000. Now, if you look almost a year later, the card is still up there about $5,000, $6,000. It never really came back down. It did have something that pushed the price up. My belief is that the Mario movie dropped, right? And then the card took off. And that's also the only card really where you have that Mario and Pikachu collaboration with Nintendo. And it's going to carry a lot of nostalgia and people wanting that card over time. So when you look at this, you also don't really see Elsa's throughout the sets in Lorcana right now. So this is a big card that people want. You have a few Mickeys and stuff out there, but you don't have a lot of different Elsas enchantments to go off of, and this is what people desire. Now, this really wraps it up for this. You can do this with any card if you choose. You can look at anything you want to analyze the market. I would highly suggest you do that, especially if you're bidding on something that's very expensive and the price is jumping for no reason, or you just don't feel comfortable with it. You want to check it and make sure you are not getting ripped off, because if you buy at the high and it was artificial and it doesn't continue to stay up there, then the next listings might come down and you might get burned when you could have got the card for a much cheaper price. So that pretty much wraps it up for Elsa. I do not see a lot of crazy stuff going on. I just think it's a very desirable card. I think Lorcana has a lot of hype surrounding it right now, and I think the card is going to continue to go up for the time being. Now, the last thing we want to look at, now this right here is a little bit weird to me. This is the first edition Grail, right? The Charizard Holo. And not this one right here, particularly right here. This is a PSA 8. But if you look at Alt, this is the app that I was talking about. You can also bring it up on your desktop. And I really love this app. And it looks at everything, right? It looks at PWCC. It looks at Golden Auctions, eBay. You can pretty much check out everything, and you can go in here and look at BGS and PSA population. It tells you the population very clear, so you can type in Charizard first edition. I did that. Click on one of the cards, and then you can basically bring this up where you can look at the population. You can click on whatever grade you're looking for, and you can see prices. So if I click on 9 right here, it'll load the recent transactions where Pokemon is going in the last 90 days, and it'll tell you how much this card is actually sold for. Now, it'll actually tell you if these are sold listings or not. So for a PSA 9, there's a population of 717, and you can see that this card sold through PWCC and was paid for on March 21st auction for $17,400 for a Charizard Shadowless First Edition. Now, let's go back to the 10. This is what I want to focus on. There's 123 in existence. Now, the Alt Liquid auction on March 30th, this just happened, was a record-breaking sale, which is going across the internet right now of Gary's Pokemart. And he is the individual that said he owned the card. And I'm not saying anything bad about him. I don't know anything really about this sale or the 5 Ws, the interrogatives of it. But what I can see right here is that the sale was going for $294,773. It's a pending sale. So I asked him, did this card actually get paid for? Because it's buzzing across the web right now that this card sold for a record-breaking sale, but it's still pending, right? Right here is saying it has not been paid for yet. It says the status of this transaction is currently pending due to the processing of the winning bidder's payment. Processing typically spans a few days. So it could be processing. But the last one in auction through PWCC, February 22nd, was $168,000, $195,000 before that, and $192,000 in January. So we have about $190,000 jump from January. That is massive. That is massive. Drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think about this. Is this legitimate? Is the market starting to pump again for Pokemon? If it is, what's making the market pump again? Is it crypto? Is the crypto pump correlated in any way, as people are going to say right now, to the Pokemon market, right? Are they dumping their cash in alternative assets or collections? That's what I want to know. So this is absolutely crazy, $300,000. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, took something from it. If you like the content, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll be back soon with more content. I'll see y'all later. Out.